31st August of this year, just like the other day, the President assented to the Access to Information Law. So we actually have an Access to Information Act now, something we've been agitating for almost the past 17 years. Most citizens would not yet understand that they have a right of access to information. And so, to that extent, how can they use it then to be able to give government, to be able to keep government accountable, to be able to enhance transparency, to be able to enhance service delivery.
Some of the challenges that are facing journalists, young journalists in this country are the laws. We used to have bad laws. We could not access information in government offices that are worth, giving out to the public.
From covering Parliament, we have the advantage of using information that is privileged, in that the information we get is on the record and cannot be legally challenged in court. But one of the challenges we've had is that sometimes politicians deliberately hide the information even after making it public. Someone might table a report, but then it takes you 2 or 3 hours to get a copy, which delays the time that you have available to read it, even when you want to do a story, close to deadline. So that makes it difficult for us. And we find out later that it's a decision that was made that let us delay the release of this information.
I must say I'm a journalist who writes on development issues, especially health, environment and agriculture. And one of the challenges I've been experiencing in accessing some of the documents in these dockets, especially health, is the resistance with some hospital facilities to release their information.
Journalists in Kenya have continued to do their work in very difficult circumstances, and with a number of laws that have made it harder for them to get access to information, even though information is a tool for their trade. So this law is a big achievement to any journalist worth their salt. And the starting point for us is to not only help journalists understand the law, but also begin to learn how they can use it as a tool in making their work easier or making their work more effective.
It's a long process in terms of disclosure, and we're hoping that this act will actually help. I have to write a letter to my boss at the ICT authority, who has to write a letter to the PS, who, depending on who we are accessing, has to write a letter to the CS. If you do not identify who your contact person on the other side is, so that you attention it to them, the letter could end up in the accountant's hands. And then the accountant doesn't know what to do with it, then it goes back, and then it's trying to find its way, and then you generally don't get the information. So sometimes you have to kind of find that person to be able to know what information you're looking for, what information you're looking at.
We are living in a world of information overload, and the person you want to request this information has too many other data sets of information around them. So to be able to know exactly what are you asking for and to whom that request must be forwarded is the beginning of getting the right information. Because if you do not know, then you're likely to ask the wrong question and you'll be given the wrong information from a wrong person. And that keeps you in a circuit for a very long time. So it is important for journalists and citizens at large to refine their thinking.
Yes, I like the part on how to apply for the information. Because sometimes you find yourself having to explain to the person who needs the information why you need it. And we found out yesterday that that is not necessary.
If we don't know what to ask for, it is impossible to make our stories. I tend to use the image that there is an information jungle out there. And if you move out in the jungle without a GPS or a proper map, you're bound to get lost. So we are using information technology to find the right document references and to use the access to information legislation in a much more precise and fast way. And that's generally what we're doing.
I think with the new law that you have passed here in Kenya, it represents a shift for journalists, because you will get from the point where you just ask the questions and see what answer you get, to a point where you can now first claim the information according to the law, with the law in your hands. Then you can go and ask the right questions. And I think it can make a change there. When it comes to accessing information, I think it's a continuously ongoing process where journalists want to access information, and those with the power, they want to deny it and they want to keep it back. And in some cases it may be motivated by corruption, or in some milder cases may be just motivated by they want to hide maybe that they haven't done their job, or maybe they've just taken a very controversial decision. And transparency has that power that you can actually reveal what's really going on based on the truth and on documented truth. And that's why it's so extremely powerful.
The training has been fantastic, and for me, one of the biggest take home is that documents in the public domain are very powerful sources of story ideas, especially stories on investigation. As I go home, I'll really have to check in the government portals where I can access public documents, and once I analyze and look at them, I'll get very good investigative stories that can be of great public interest and that can have an impact.
The training on access to information has been very eye-opening. It's been an eye-opener, very informative, and very timely also, because the access to information law was signed by the president very recently, and most of us journalists were excited, but we didn't really know the meat of this. And this particular workshop has come to give us the meat of the law, because we were just writing about the excitement that now we can access information, but we didn't really know how to access information. One of the things I have learned is that not all information shall be accessible. There are protections for various reasons, which we have been taught during the workshop.
This is an eye-opener. We are beginning to know what are our rights. How are we going to pursue this? It has been quite a welcoming thing.
What I think will be more interesting for us going forward is how this new law will work. We'll see how government reacts to it, how the executive reacts to it. And from here we've learned how we can take the first tentative steps in a way that will not make them want to hold back the information.
When somebody is making a decision not to grant information on the basis that they are safeguarding the right to privacy or confidentiality, then one, they have a duty to explain to you the reason as to why they are saying no. But two, where you think that the grounds they've used are not sufficient, then you have an opportunity to seek redress at the Commission of an Administration of Justice or to go to High Court. So yes, those explanations will come from public officers. That's why the law is framed the way it is, that an officer who may have denied you information and doesn't have a strong reason will try to pick on any of those. But the justification of that reason in an interrogation with the Commission on Administration of Justice or High Court would be what would vindicate the public officer for not giving you the information, or would be what would incriminate them for not giving you the information. So we can't be the judge and jury in our own court. We have to begin accepting that if you put in a request and the other party does not give you the information, please allow the other third parties to adjudicate the matter. You can't be a judge and jury in your own court.